Welcome back to another episode of Loud and Ugly Garage. We got good news and bad news. Heard back from the machine shop. My heads that I had just aren't going to cut it. They need a little bit more machining, and they would be at the machine shop too long for us to make it to the Blue Suede Cruise. So went ahead and ordered some brand new aluminum AFR heads for my small block. Those are on their way, so as soon as those get here, we'll get rocking and rolling on that. Right now, want to give a big shout out to Checkered Racing, who built me a set of 60-inch ladder bars and a drive shaft loop. Those are going to be here tomorrow, so I can get the rear suspension coilover setup done that we started in the last episode. Just want to give them a big shout out. If you don't know where to find them, check them out on my Instagram. You can message me on there or whatever. I'll send you the link. But for now, let's get cracking. So this is a custom homemade gas tank that my dad and I built when I first put the truck together. You can see it's got some sort of leak up top, so we're gonna drop this tank down right now, pull the fuel lines because I got to run all new fuel lines. I'm gonna do some braided hose up to an electronic fuel pump instead of a mechanical on the new motor. So I've got to pull this tank out, make sure it's got a rollover valve in it, fix the leak, and then we'll put it back in and run the new gas lines. So I got the gas draining. As you can see, it was leaking all over the place, all over the floor. You know how my dad is about his floor in the garage. Got to keep it clean. So got the trans jack here with a 5-gallon bucket. Just trapping all the gas. I think I only have less than a quarter tank of gas in there, so it shouldn't be too long and it'll quit flowing. So there was definitely way more gas in there than I thought. I got like 5 gallons there and then half a gallon over here. Okay, rule number 1, lesson learned. Never say it should be easy. I loosened those bolts and then they fell down on the car hoist. Luckily I didn't bend them. I bought nice stainless steel tubing. Show you these right now. So this is a 3.5-inch piece that tees off to the back with a 3-inch. That way I get a 3.5-inch dump just like it is on the collectors and my headers. And then when I cap them off down in there, it shoots it out the back through the 3-inch, through some Black Widow. I think these are called the Angry Housewives, but there isn't much to them. They're literally like the width of my hand, and it sounds pretty good with the headers closed too, but you know, we like it loud and ugly here. So that opens up a bit more room. Is this looking? It runs a pretty straight path to the back. And I'm going to be running my ladder bars off of a bracket that I make on the center of the frame here, all the way back to the axle. I don't believe that those will interfere with the exhaust system, so I will be able to put the exhaust system back on there, which is good for a little bit of street use. You know, don't want the cops being too mad about how loud it is. That is my old fuel line up there on the rail, and the fuel filter, it's mounted up there. Got to take that off. I'm going to be mounting that in the back behind the tank with the electronic fuel pump. All the fuel's drained out. Got a little pipe plug in there. And this is how I'm going to sketchily take this gas tank out. So tonight you can see you got the gas tank drained and pulled out. All the fuel lines are taken off of the frame rail now. all the way up to the fuel filter up here. So that's gutted, ready for the new lines to go to it. We're switching to 1/2 inch line because I'm gonna need a little bit more fuel with this motor. But tomorrow we got the heads showing up and the ladder bars and the drive shaft loop. So we got a lot of work ahead of us. Came home to a few boxes today. Got our Summit side and our Checkered Racing side. I think you can already tell what's in this box over here, but this one is gonna be a surprise for you guys. So like I said at the beginning of the video, some guys over at Checkered Racing hooked it up. They built me a set of ladder bars and a drive shaft loop. Just got home from work and it was sitting out in the driveway. So we're gonna go ahead and unbox these and show these to you right now. So here it is, the ladder bars and drive shaft loop made by Checkered Racing. Again, I'll tag them in this video, their Instagram handle, in case you want to get a hold of them and order yourself up some. Got some great marksmanship on these, they look beautiful. Came with brackets, hardware, everything. I'm excited to get this stuff in there. It's going to replace these old school trailing arms. I'll have coilovers in here. It's going to look pretty bad to the bone. Show them what's in there. Some great aluminum AFRs. Woo. So light. Holy crap. Feel how light that is. Put your hand under it. For a head. Holy cow. Sweet! Don't want to drop these. What do you think of these, Ed? I always wanted a set.
Yeah.
Look at the port in there. Woo. Super light, like incredibly light. You ever pick up small block heads, I mean, they're not as heavy as big block, but they're still pretty heavy. These things, aluminum, about, I don't even know. They're just super light. All right, fresh out of the box. For any weight weenies, we're gonna put it on a scale. Let's see.
About 30 pounds.
But yeah, it's like 29 pounds, so pretty dang light. Oh, I don't even know where to begin because we've been on a rat race this whole week trying to figure everything out. First off, the motor that I bought, the race motor, came with a set of Chevy Performance bow tie heads, and we sent those to the machine shop because they need a little bit of machine work. Machinist said he was going to try to get them done. You know how that goes. Never got them done, so I went and picked them up. We ordered a brand new set of AFR aluminum heads right here. Got those today. Super excited about them. Go to put them on the race motor. And the dome on the piston is set up for older style. We've got the heart-shaped style chamber on these ones. So these were interfering with the dome on the piston. So these heads aren't going to work for the race motor. So we went ahead and scratched the idea about the race motor. Now we're going to take these AFR heads, bolt them on my stock 350 that we pulled out loud and ugly over here. And we're gonna see what I can do. Alright, we've got Dad and Cal working on putting the new heads on the old motor. I'm gonna be out here working on this. I gotta cut the motor mounts off so we can change the angle, the engine, and the trans sit so we can line up pinion angle a little bit better. And while doing that, I'm gonna be putting a drive shaft loop and the ladder bars in, so stay tuned.
So we're back at it. We wanted to check this piston to valve clearance again on this head because we're putting it on here and I don't want to ruin his new heads. Plus we need to get push rod length. So first of all, I got to get it all set up so I can put the degree wheel back on and we can check 15 thousandths or 15 degrees before and after top dead center on our valve to piston clearance. But I've got an adjustable push rod checker in here. It's just a threaded rod. I kind of went off the stock length to see if we were close. We ended up having to keep moving it, but what you want to do is put it in there. We're on the base circle of the cam. I put a Sharpie, I just marked the top of the valve stem, and then I'll just rock it back and forth, and we've played around there with it enough. Now you can see where that line kind of wore in there. We're right in the center of the valve stem, and that's kind of where we want to be. So now we can take this out and measure this push rod length so that we have the right push rods for this engine. That's the last thing we need to order, and hopefully we can get that. And I think we got everything else we need to get this thing going for Norwalk. So cross your fingers, and we're going to try. Well, I got the head on with the correct length push rods. We used our little push rod length checker, and I actually had some brand new push rods that were one piece, hardened ones, which we need for the guide plates. So I put one of those in. I set 0 lash. I've got a solid lifter in here so that you don't have any cushion from the hydraulic lifter. I went ahead and found TDC, put our degree wheel back on, and then rolled it around to our to where our intake valve is just starting to open. We went 10 degrees after top dead center. That's where the piston and the valve are the closest together. And went over here to read our dial indicator as I pushed down on the rocker. We've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 3 thousandths. Just made it. The spec is 80 thousandths for the intake. So that means we have enough clearance between the piston and the valve, and we shouldn't be smacking that two together. So we're going to try and set up everything on the exhaust now, make sure that one's okay.
So we've got the exhaust valve all set up here. We're about to check to see how much clearance we've got over here.
All right, again, so we know that 10 degrees before top dead center, the exhaust valve is moving up. It's the closest spot from the piston to the valve, so I'm going to go ahead and do our check here again. So we have 50, 100, 150, 200, and about 3 thousandths. And the spec for that is 100 thousandths on the exhaust, so we're well good on the exhaust. A lot more room there.
I got Cal out here. What are you doing, Cal? Cleaning off my new motor. Another motor. Getting her all cleaned up. There's some paint. What color are you gonna do?
Thinking green.
Green. And that's gonna go in the 56 Chevy gasser. Once we're done with the hoorah on the Loud and Ugly truck, we'll get working on the 56 again. Alright, we've got the stock 350 gutted back down after doing some clearance checks. I'm going to take it outside, just kind of clean everything up. Got to clean all these surfaces off. Going to clean up the piston tops and make it look nice again. Touch up the paint so it looks just like the race motor, other than I got a small oil pan on this one. And then bolt the trans up to it and hopefully slide that in tomorrow. Alright, I've got the block all stripped down outside. Got everything kind of plugged up. These are all the water ports for the coolant. So now I'm just going to take the wire wheel and clean up these surfaces, get rid of all this extra excess stuff and make it nice and clean. Hit it with some acetone and then throw a little paint on it and slap this thing back in the truck. Well, it started to rain on me while I was out there cleaning the motor. I managed to get intake gasket wiped off there, the debris from the head gaskets, and then I cleaned up the pistons as well. So tomorrow, hopefully I'll be able to get some acetone on there to scrub it up and get rid of all the grease and stuff, that residue on there, road dust, and clean it up, and we'll paint it, bolt it to the trans, and get it in the truck. Another box came in the mail. Imagine that. Just money flying out of my pocket left and right. Let's see what we got. This should be the rest of the motor parts for my stock motor. Oh yeah. Starters and alternators. This is a really expensive alternator with brackets and all that stuff. Well, you can't even see it because there's a box inside of a box. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. Real nice alternator. It even comes with a Muscle Man on there. Nice bracket. Little one too. Keep it nice and small. But that's that. You'll see that going on the motor here in a little bit. Alright, move that stuff out of the way. Old news, I don't care about it anymore. Tunnel ram gaskets because mine were leaking, so got those. Oh, low car. We got a low car throttle cable here because I got this big old, whatever, it's a throttle cable. It's not that interesting because I'm going to put this big old pedal in there so I can really hammer on the gas. Brah. Takes up like my whole foot. It'd be pretty sweet. Alright, what else we got? Spark plugs. Gotta run special plugs for the AFR heads, so this is what they recommended for pump gas because now I'm not getting as high compression as I was going to get with the race motor. So these are just regular old pump gas for the aluminum heads style spark plugs. These are electronic fuel pump shut-off switch, like safety switch in case it were to quit running, then it would quit pumping gas. Harmonic balancer bolt for the race motor, and this is a water pump because mine was leaking, so got a brand new one. Pretty much just like any other one, super plain. Alright, well, I gotta finish cleaning up the motor here and then shoot a little paint on it, and then we're gonna put all these parts on it. I got the stock 350 all taped up. We had it out, so I was just cleaning it up. Gonna repaint it. Scratched off where it was kind of bad and acetoned it, got it ready. And now we're gonna squirt some paint on it and get these new parts on it. Brought the motor in from outside. Put the motor mounts back on. We're staying with the mechanical fuel pump for the stock 350. Brand new water pump. Got the balancer back on. And the brand new alternator with bracket. And hang it nice and low. So everything's repainted. Now we can get this thing together and put the trans on it. Get it in the truck. Sprucing up the pulleys here. Making her look real nice, Clark. Wow, so nice. Brand spanky new. Alright, we've got the motor front dress put together, so everything's good, alternator's tight, everything's worked out perfect. So very rarely does that happen, in our garage at least. So for this episode we didn't get the motor and trans put in. Got a lot of stuff going on, keep running into issues here and there, so hopefully by next episode you'll see us putting the motor in, getting those ladder bars put on that Checkered Racing sent me, and then we'll be out test running this and seeing what it does. Alright, catch us next time on Loud and Ugly Garage.